Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another video podcast of my little political commentary show here on Periscope, Political News Time. I'm Alex Mayers. So, this morning is one of those days to where I really am happy that I do keep up with the podcast having to do with politics and current events and my opinion on it, because, it was just announced, I believe it was yesterday, that Elizabeth Warren, presidential candidate, Elizabeth Warren, she's on the Democratic side. It's been kind of announced that her camp has been in talks with Andrew Gillum's camp, and Andrew Gillum just may be her running mate for her presidential candidacy. Andrew Gillum, for those of you who may have forgotten, was an individual who was running for office here in Florida. I think he was running for governor. And that was a really weird election, okay? I actually started to speak out a little bit politically in regards to what was happening here in Florida in regards to Andrew Gillum, because he was running against an individual known as Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis started to gain ground, especially when it comes to people who are white nationalists and white supremacists here in Florida, when, Trump was really kind of trumpeting up the racism within America, throughout his term. So Ron DeSantis made a very weird comment publicly on a video spot one day on the news, on mainstream media, in regards to people needing to stop monkeying around. And it was kind of obvious what, kind of terminology he was dog whistling there and who he was talking to and what exactly he meant by that phrase, monkeying around. So anyway, my whole point is that Andrew Gillum, an African-American male, was running against Ron DeSantis for Florida governor, and he lost. But the question is, did he really lose, even though he, conceded gracefully? That's unclear, because there was a major voting issue that took place in Southeast Florida in regards to our votes not being counted. And this is in the Broward County, Florida area, an area where I actually live. And I'm not convinced that Ron DeSantis really won that election. I think Andrew Gillum did, because Andrew Gillum was really gaining a huge voter turnout. People who normally wouldn't even vote because they liked him so much. So, yeah. So anyway, my whole point is that it's very exciting that Andrew Gillum is now re-entering the political stage via Elizabeth Warren, because if he were to be her running mate, that would be quite wonderful. That would be quite a comeback for Andrew Gillum, because to have lost being Florida governor, but to gain being vice president of the United States, hey, that's one of those things to where I just want him to win, just so that for 4 years, Ron DeSantis has to, turn on CNN or look at MSNBC or Fox News, even, whatever it is that he watches. And he just has to see Andrew Gillum's face, because you just know that if Andrew Gillum were to get that vice presidency, his face would be everywhere. So yeah, that would be some interesting political karmic justice. I would love that. And welcome everybody to the podcast, Political News Time. This is just a little commentary that I do to discuss things that are on my mind politically. What else did I want to mention this morning? Oh, well, you know what? The last podcast I mentioned that I wanted to talk a little bit about this, recent whistleblower who at one point was employed by Cambridge Analytica. And this has to do with, the Ukraine voter interference and everything. If you follow my Twitter at Alex Mayers Live, or, well, you know what, even if you don't, because I'm not accepting new Twitter followers, just go to politicalnewstime.com a little bit later today, because I'm going to post the YouTube interview between, gosh, who was he talking to? I can't remember who was interviewing him. Whoever was interviewing him I think it was for MSNBC, but it was a really comprehensive interview in regards to how companies and Cambridge Analytica, due to this situation, is probably why they shut their doors or shut down or closed down, however you want to define it, disappeared, because just the amount of mined data that was exploited in order to specifically target certain individuals for just basically to radicalize them and get them to spread the word about certain political candidates. It's frightening. It's really frightening.
According to a whistleblower from the company, quote, Cambridge Analytica would target those who were more prone to impulsive anger or conspiratorial thinking than average citizens. That whistleblower, Christopher Wiley, joins me now. He was one of the co-founders of the company and the former director of research. His book is called Mind Blank. Okay, that's actually not what the book's called, but I'm not saying what it's actually called. Cambridge Analytica and the Plot to Break America. Christopher Wiley joins me now. Christopher, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Remind America what Cambridge Analytica is, because I do think that sometimes in the media world we use euphemisms. What was Cambridge Analytica? Who founded it?
Cambridge Analytica, had its origins in a military contractor that, based in London, that explored, when I first joined, how the internet had been being used to radicalize people and what you could do to mitigate radicalization. And essentially what happened was, Steve Bannon procured the resources of an alt-right billionaire to acquire the company. And when that happened, a lot of the work that we did looking at what organizations like ISIS target, frequently young unmarried men who are more prone to, certain kinds of personality traits, all that work got inverted. And it was inverted for one particular purpose, which was to promote radicalization within the United States and build the alt-right.
So we took the knowledge that we had, Cambridge Analytica took the science and knowledge that it had about how to prevent radicalization of people and said, hey, we can flip it.
And even if Cambridge Analytica doesn't exist, what happens when China decides to become the next Cambridge
Because
Analytica?
clearly this knowledge, this know-how exists. It's out there. And we can't contain that, right? That part's not proprietary.
Well, I think, and something else that I talk about in the book is more broadly, why isn't it that we, why do we not have, rules for safety and consumer protection when it comes to technology and software? It's a good question. You should ask Mark Zuckerberg that.
You know what? I'm really glad that I enjoyed social media for what it was meant to be upon its conception, because it's just not fun anymore. It's more like almost a utility. I'm just waiting for the day that all of a sudden, because already Twitter does make money off me when I think about it, just simply because I have a Twitter account. But I'm waiting for the day that these social networks start trying to charge all of us just to have a profile. I feel like that day is right around the corner, and it's just not fun anymore, because just knowing that your information, your thoughts, your comments, all of that is being used to, not only basically steal your votes, sway you in a certain way, but just to kind of abuse us. The social networks, I think, at this point, all that they are going to know about me is what I've already shared. That's the deal. No more. No more. I have my little social profiles, but it's output only for the most part. I don't even really follow people who are my offline friends or anything, because it's become a mechanism for stalking, for targeted advertising, for, you know, political reasons. It's bad. It's really bad. But yeah, when it comes to that whistleblower, the things that he was sharing, I'm glad that he shared some of those things in regards to just some of the diabolical applications social network data can be utilized for. Yeah. Yep. So everyone check out that video. I'm going to post that later today. But you know, it's interesting as to exactly how threatened the Trump administration has been since this whistleblower has come out, how quickly they've tried to discredit him, denounce him. And that's how you know that there's a lot of validity to it. That's how you know. Was there anything else major I wanted to talk about this morning? I want to keep this short and sweet. Oh, Robert De Niro has decided to suddenly speak up, you know, because he wants some attention. But he just blasted Donald Trump, calling him a weird, twisted president who thinks he's a gangster. You know, I put a little reply. I was like, yeah, he thinks he's a gangster because the actions he takes are that of fictional organized crime members, you know? So, yeah, he's not weird or twisted. He's just living his life the way that he lives his life. Oh, one more thing I did want to touch on has to do with Tulsi Gabbard, the another Democratic presidential candidate. She apparently is threatening to boycott the October 15th Democratic debate because she just feels like there's too much rigging going on. She really does. She feels that there's too much rigging. But, you know, I don't think that this election really is for Tulsi. I think she should boycott it. I think that she really should drop out of the running. I think that maybe she should run for president in 2028. I think that would be a good year for her. Because right now, she doesn't seem like she really wants the job. You know, she just seems to be kind of about bringing some attention to Hawaii, which is great. You know, I think I'm going to go and visit Hawaii specifically because of Tulsi. I like her. But I don't think that she really wants to run for president. Now she's going to boycott the debate. You know, she's like, oh, there's a lot of things that just aren't fair. Yeah, damn right. Life's not fair, Tulsi. And you whining about it is not going to help. And that's why I don't think you should be president. Because if you're going to sit there and you're going to whine, man, I don't even want anyone to hear me because things aren't fair, then I don't want you to be president. Because what if something happens on an international level? Are you going to do the same thing? I'm just going to boycott the UN because it's like, no, Tulsi, you can't do that. So I like Tulsi. I really do. I think that she lives an exemplary life. Very healthy woman, very healthy in mind, body, soul, everything. I really like her. But I don't really think she should be president. I think that there's other things that she should do. But I'm glad that she did run for president. The person I think should be president is Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. Vote for Elizabeth Warren, everybody. And, oh my God, please, everyone, send a thought into the universe that Hillary Clinton does not attempt to run for president again this term. Please. Please. Because I think just because of ego, Trump is going to end up trying to bait her out to use as a weapon against his enemies, namely Elizabeth Warren, by taunting Hillary enough to where she's like, fuck it. All right, I am going to run for president. Where is my pantsuit? I could see her doing that. And I don't want to see her doing that. Because really, I don't think that she ever should have been the first woman to run for president anyway. Not the first woman, I don't think, but No, no. Elizabeth Warren, yes. Hillary Clinton, no. And for Hillary to even have tested the waters by responding to Trump saying, oh, do your job. Don't tempt me. Don't try to use Trump as your excuse to run for president, Hillary. Because if you run for president, Hillary, and you stop Elizabeth Warren from being president, I am going to be upset. A lot of people are going to be really upset with you. You had your time. There's a lot of things you could be doing. I heard you went on a book tour, Hillary Clinton. I'll read your book. But don't run for president, please. Because I do not want Bill to be the first man. Could you imagine? See, that's why. If she had just divorced Bill, that would have been great. But she didn't. And he doesn't need to be the first man. The first man. It's like, oh, hi, I'm Bill. I'm the first man. And you know what? I'm the guy who had an affair with my intern. And the whole world knows about it. And I even lost my job due to the situation. But guess what, America? I'm the first man. I'm Bill Clinton. First man who openly had an affair behind my wife's back. And she was the first lady. That's why we can't do that. We cannot do that. Don't do that. Hillary, please don't do that. But if you do, you do. If you do, you do. Thanks everyone for watching this morning's podcast of Political News Time. Once more, I'm Alex Mayers. And remember, you can always check me out on alexandramayerslive.com or politicalnewstime.com. And that's about it. See you later.